Hey everybody, guess what I'm doing? I'm blackberrying. Look at that. Yep, I had the phone running for a whole 10 minutes, and I didn't know the phone was off, and now it's running, I should say. But look at that, very nice. Those are not so nice. Those are not quite so ripe. Anyway, I am blackberrying today, and having a little commentary because my kids are tired and they're hot and they've gone inside. So I'm going behind all the obvious ones that they missed because they would rather be in 75-degree weather inside instead of 88, I believe, today in humidity. They would rather do that. For some reason, they're going to have to go back in school in a month. Now, they only got a month of real living, Oop, look at that. Now that's blackberry. Look at that juice. Be a little more careful. I don't want that one. The bug has gone too much on that, and that was a June bug that buzzed by earlier. And if we don't watch it and don't keep up with the berry picking, they're going to come along and they're going to eat every one of these berries. I'm going to come out here one day. Oh, I dropped one. Darn it. Blankety blank. So, there's one. And we'll come out and there'll be hundreds of June bugs out here, and they'll be slathering all over this, just munching down and eat it all up quicker than you could pick them. Oh, there we go. Reveal. It's like a video game. You find the hidden treasure. This has 6 health points associated with it. That's how I try to explain it to the kids. Why are we doing this? Why don't we just buy some blackberries? I'm like, well, Benjamin, Jacob, excuse me, phone. God just gave, he looked upon my laziness, allowing this field to grow up. Laziness and lack of money for a nice bush hogger. But to grow up and provide us with blackberries as a consequence. So it's very nice of God to do that. And he's like, we could buy blackberries. Yeah, but these are free. No, we gotta pick them in the hot sun. And then you just sigh and you go, okay, well, could we go in then? I go, no, you can't go in. You gotta pick at least a part of a pint, son. Oh, so now I don't remember being that way, but I'm sure it was. And if I was for too long, my dad would have corrected me. Come on, little blackberry bush. There we go. All right, moving on. There we go. Yeah, when my mom was a kid, I thought it was bad that I had to go get a quart of them or something, for a pie equivalency. They preserved theirs when my mom was a kid back in the 40s and 1940s over in grassy area on your way to the dam. Basically, where my mom lived is where the Marshall County Hospital is in Arab. There, that field, part of that was theirs. So they used to own it, but they sold it and moved to Birmingham. So their father, my grandfather, who was working in, I believe, a steel mill or something then. But then the big city had its problems too, and caused a lot of problems with the family. And Grandpop decided to split after, selling my grandmother's farm that she inherited from her first husband. So it's kind of like a gothic novel, like something that Faulkner would write, wouldn't it? So my poor grandmother, she was with child by her first husband when her first husband died suddenly. So some kind of heart attack or something. I saw the death certificate, and I forgot how they put it. Thrombosis, I believe. Might have been a word. I don't know. So there she was, like 6 months pregnant. And then my grandfather, who didn't have much of a nickel to his name, he was an orphan. His parents died from the 20s plague, the Spanish flu. And, well, he said, well, I'll marry you. Woman that owns acreage. It's like 140 acres. I could be wrong. Something like that, maybe 120. The stories change over the years, but the story, as far as the amount of acreage, it was enough to raise 8 kids and grow cotton and the usual livestock and so forth. Chop cotton. Oh, I'm stuck a little bit here. This thing's not playing nice with me. So here we go. So yes, they would send, getting back to the story, instead of my family's woes, my grandmother would send my mom out into the brush here, or at their place, and say, now don't you come back until you bring me a gallon of those blackberries, and they better be good ones. And so she'd spend all day and she would be terrified. Inevitably, you're gonna run across a snake if you do this all the time. The snakes, and they're usually just little green snakes and occasionally a rat snake. But the snakes, you know, they're lying in wait for either insects or little birds or something to eat these. And, you know, it's like a watering hole. Here we go. Oh, there's all those. Look at all those over there. If I get to them, I will be shredded to pieces. If I can get to these, with just a little shredding, like shredded wheat, I suppose. Shredded carry. Was that worth it? Not really. Okay, here we go. But these will be worth it. When you have that wonderful sweet blackberry juice running down your gullet, down your mouth, then it's worth it. And you know, it's pretty expensive then to buy even a pint of blackberries. The thing about blackberries is these wild ones they do taste differently than, or different from, I guess. The store-bought ones, or the frozen ones especially, you know. It's like my mom worked with this lady who was from Germany, and she brought some strawberry plants from her part of Germany. I believe she was from Bavaria, I could be wrong. Southeastern Germany. And anyway, and they were the tiniest little strawberries. They were probably about as big as this blackberry, tiny little strawberries. And my mom would buy some from her, and occasionally one would just give my mom some, you know. And they were the sweetest strawberries that I ever had in my life. Some kind of species, different breed, however you want to put it. I don't know if she had picked the plants from the woods or from the fields or whatever, but they were very good. Here we go. I'm also filming this so my wife can participate. Because believe me, she's from Chicago, and she's not a super country girl, even though she's stuck out in the country. But that's why she's a librarian, and I am not now. I don't mind. I don't mind the country. I like it far better than living in most of the cities. To really live comfortably in a big city, you have to be wealthy. You have enough space, so you're not living on top of one another. So your neighbor won't be getting drunk or whatever and playing his music all night, or messing up his yard, and then you're like, well, how can I sell my house living next to this guy? Which was actually a true situation for me one time. Oh man. One time a guy I lived next to, he had a giant Great Dane, and I think it was his wife from the way they acted with it, and he was a friendly dog and all that, but on weekends, they would go away, and they would chain him up in a tiny backyard that was probably only 3 times the size of this dog, and he was big as a pony. Ow, that hurt a little bit. Sometimes the thorns go through your armor, and the dog would get lonely, and even though he was huge as a pony, he got lonely. He was a kid. He was a big puppy. And mommy and daddy left him, and so all day. See, I'm the homebody type. This is when I lived at another place. I lived in the suburbs, and the dog would go whoop, 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 and I go, oh. And its voice was so deep, bass, that you know you would want to stuff Oh, look at that. You'd want to stuff some cotton in your ear or something, or wear earplugs or something. But you know, it would just go right through it. That's mostly right. Those are not right. And so I'm in there. I'm on my computer. I'm trying to learn some skills on my day off on my computer, and I just downloaded Linux for the first time, and I was playing with it, you know, on a computer, hoping not to destroy my computer, which I did several times, which is fine, because that's what Linux is for destroying your computer and saying, oh, I'll learn better next time. But all day, and his poor dog, and he was in the sun, and I offered kiddingly one time, and I said, hey, you need me to water him or anything? Oh, he is fine. He is just fine. He'll be all right. Don't you mind him? Well, I do mind him. Well, I didn't say that. I wanted to say I do mind him. One, just on the face of it, the poor dog is, you know, he looks pretty thirsty. You know, I know it's only June. You know, that little pan of water, you do know he drinks like an elephant, lady. When you got this dog, I knew he was cute, and you remember your Marmaduke comics, but it's just not working out. And besides that, you know, it's, and it was like you could time yourself. You could set your clock by the, they were so regular. And you could tell when he would come home because he would go, and you go, somebody's home. But then they would never check on him. Immediately you would think, well, we've been gone all day. And you know, I've never seen them really interacting with the dog. So they've been gone all day. Pretty good. These little ones, not all ripe. I'm just doing my best, folks. Mother Nature's blessing me. We're getting to pie level. Look at that. Will it be a crumble? It'll be whatever Nora makes, because Nora is a wonderful cook. She loves to cook. So to conclude, if you got a gigantic dog, interact with it. You know, I don't know if dogs are people too, but they do have feelings. And why do you get a dog if you're not going to interact with it? What's the point of it? And if you chain it up, you build a really nice little dog house. It looked like a cabin, a little cabin. Like if you've ever seen one of those little ice houses that they use on the lakes up north when they fish on the lake, in the ice fishing. Yeah, ice fishing. That's the word. My fingers. Well, that's what it looked like, except, you know, not as tall. It's huge, but it was like, it was never open. And so the little poor dog is out there chained to the side of it. And I don't know why they didn't open it. I mean, is that where they stored his food? I don't know. But we moved a few months after this, so, you know, the point was moot. And he wasn't being abused, but he wasn't within the realms of the law would consider abuse, at least for this part of the world. But, oh yeah, look at that. If it's the size of your thumbnail, you're doing all right. Oh, you hear that? Oh, June bug. When Mom was a kid, they would get June bugs and tie a thread around one of its legs or something, and they would let it, because, you know, they didn't have toys, you know. They were poor. Most of their money went back to paying off the bank or the store, or advancing the money to get through from one crop to the next, if you know what I mean. They always did, and they always made money back, but you had to be thrifty and deny your kids, you know, the toys. Now, you would be considered abusing your children now. But anyway, they tie a thread to it, and it's probably abusing an insect. But oh well, my mom has passed away, so we'll let God judge it, right? And the poor little beetle would fly and fly, and it would fly around and around like a whirligig. There we go. I can do it. Just a little more thorns. Oh, will it be worth it? Maybe not. Oh. So you think, hey, I got away with getting these berries. I didn't get hurt. I don't have a giant gash. And then what you should do is go in there and wash your hands really well, soap, and then pour some alcohol over your hand, and you'll scream because you've actually had several dozen, 100, I don't know, little pricks into your skin, little needles. I hear you. Yes, I know you're ready to eat my crop. I know. Our crop. I know. You're the wild animal. Oh, look at that. You see it? You see it in there? Ooh. So you gotta, I kid around my kids and I say, well, you gotta be, this is like a secular form of Zen here. You reach in and you just grab it and you pull away without getting, look at that. Not a single stick, not a single barb. Here we go. Ooh, some are digging in my clothes, but that's okay. I'm willing to accept that. So you just pull. Oh, a little bit. That's why you get the heavy denim shirt like I have. You can see that. And, oh, that one's high. We'll get it. I hear you. Reveal yourself. I'm going to show everybody. I see you. There he goes. I don't know if you saw him or not. They look like little scarab beetles in a way. They got a green and golden tint to them. And, they were here on this land before I was, right? I'm not trespassing because, you know what? I paid a property tax. But, yeah, here's some of the little ones. What you have to do is you have to pick to the point where you go, is it worth getting stuck? Is it worth getting stuck? Is it worth getting a hook? A wooden hook in your hand. Right now, though, if you hear the other little flies buzzing around me, that's because they're not eating me up because I'm swathed or what's the word? Just slathered, I guess is the word. And oh, look at those black ones. Oh, looks good. Hey, kitty. I didn't see you down there, kitty. You keeping the snakes away from you? Huh? All right. Here we go. Ooh, I missed one. Sometimes, though, you have to just back up and see what's in front of you, like the cat and these berries that I missed. They're not all ripe yet. So sometimes you got to move these aside like this, and then you stomp it down, and it crimps it. And you hope it keeps out of your way. Oh, you accept the pain. It's like being an athlete. You accept the pain because you think of all the pie. I have enough for at least a pie now, and we've got 2 other pints in there, and it's definitely enough for a pie. Okay, I'm in. Let me glance around for Mr. Snake. Now, I know it sounds like I'm kind of a wuss, but they do have rattlesnakes around here. And I don't think we get any water moccasins this far away from water, but we are near, not too far, like 100 yards from a creek and a giant ditch out there. But there's also copperheads and there's other things. I believe we have the coral snake, the snake that's poisonous around here. I believe so. Oh, look at that. Yum. Oh well. It'll cook just as well. Some of that juicy goodness will get into the pie, I'm sure of it. All right, here we go. Still picking. So yeah, my mom would, they would tie a thread, and they would let it fly, and then they weren't, I'm not saying they weren't cruel. There's a little cruelty involved there. But then again, we watch MMA, so, that one fell. You can get away from me, are you? No, you're not. Look at that. Oh, it bust. Oh, well. Still good. Yeah, we watch MMA. We watch boxing. And we put human beings through beating each other to death. So I think a 9-year-old, 8-year-old putting a thread on a bug for about 15 minutes is probably not the worst crime a child has done. There's some real psychos out there, you know? I know because I've been in education. I've seen a couple. Ha! I mean, poor deers, right? No, the ones that had real problems weren't problems. It was the one that had, they were just little jerks. There's always one or two, and you have to deal with them properly, or they'll take over your class and destroy it and ruin it for everyone else. And you know, mommy and daddy don't pay taxes so that their kid can have other kids totally destroy the classroom environment. Can't have that. Gotta have that discipline. At least, you know, to make the grade, to pass. You know, if they don't want to learn, oh no, I lost a good one. Oh no. You know, Jesus will run after the 100th and leave the 99 behind. Unfortunately, the way most of our public schooling system is we let the 99 scatter too, and we herd as many as we can up, and you know, that's about it. If they play, if they're really good at sports and they play football, you know, we'll run after them a little bit harder because it's always nice to have a winning football team. Oh, dropped my phone. Are you okay, phone? All right, good. Yeah. So, oh, dropped it. Dang it. Yep. Oh, there's some giant berries over there. I'm gonna risk decapitation to get them. It might be an ugly sight. Well, I was talking earlier though, we have at least 2 varieties of blackberries here. What you're seeing here, what you're seeing here are the most common, probably 95%. If you look at the leaf, the way it's shaped. And there's another one, and the berries, they just tend not to get that big. See those? But we have another one, and as a kid, they always called them dewberries. They're much bigger, about as big as your thumb sometimes, and much juicier. And it's a totally different blackberry juice taste. So maybe it's not a blackberry, maybe it's a dewberry. I don't know. Those are all kind of ripe. It's annoying. I'll get them. They're mostly ripe. We'll just put in a little bit extra sweetener. Another good thing to have with these blackberries is if you clean them up really well, is sprinkle them, not that, but sprinkle some of these on your cereal in the morning. Very good. Or you can make a jam or jelly. I guess a jam is the thick jelly. And preserves with actual fruit. I think. It's been a while since I made jelly. Oh, I can't believe I got, oh no, I dropped some. Was it worth it? Yeah, that's the way life it's like kids. It's like having kids. Is it worth all the pain? Why, yes, because you get a lot more joy and sweetness. You know, at the time when the kids get colic or whatever and he's up all night, it's not so sweet. It's sort of like the thorns. But over time, when they mature, when they mature, and they get hopefully sweetness in them, you know. Sort of like if you train the blackberries to grow on a trellis or something, then they'll grow right and they won't be as thorny, hopefully. Maybe we should train our kids that way. I'm probably not 100% an expert on that, but I'm doing, you know, at least 50%, which isn't half bad. Anyway, yeah, all right. So blackberry pie is like raising kids. So you go through some pains, but it's worth it. Especially when you add lots of sugar. Wow. Can't do this. This is another reason why blackberries don't bloom all the time and produce fruit all the time. Because, ow. Because we'd be eating pies all the time and getting the diabetes, as my mom would say. That's what my dad had, and she had that too. It's not a happy disease. But nature only gave us so much sugar. It's the humans who made all that sugar. I'm not saying sugar's bad, but you know, it's like anything. Too much will kill you. You can drink too much water. I read about this guy who literally drank so much water he died from some sort of deficiency that's caused on by so much water in his system. Forgot the situation. I think he was an athlete. He just overdid it. That's kind of hard to believe, isn't it? Okay. All right, blackberries. I want to drop my phone through all this. That would be disappointing. Look, just 15 minutes worth of work. Actually, 25 minutes of work. More like 30 because I didn't have my phone on at first. And I had some really funny things to say. And of course, only the angels and the snakes and the blackberries had heard it. But that's okay. It'll come back to me one day, I'm sure. All right, you see all that? There's no way I can get in there unless I turn into the size of a cat and go through the brambles and pop up. I can't do that. There's only so much. I'll be getting a whole body tattoo. All the little punctures and all the juice flowing in them. Have a giant purple tattoo. Oh, I got these little midges. If you know what those are, little flies. They like to try to get in your eyeballs. I don't know why. I think that maybe they like your salt water. I don't know. I wonder if Prince went blackberrying as a kid and that's why he liked purple rain. Probably not. I don't know. Good singer though. A little risque, but a good musician. Oh, look at that. Oh, put that on your cornflakes. Ooh. Oh man, I wish I hadn't been so lazy and broke the last few years. I could have at least trained these on some types of poles or something and had access to them rather than clawing my body up. We'll call this some kind of secular version of penance, right? Oh, because I do repent of it. Let me believe you me. So it's that natural result. You didn't do it? Well, it's coming right back to bite you. Ugh. And there's all those. I can't reach those. It'll just kill me. I'm not a bear. I don't have a bear's hide. Okay, I'm gonna reach. I'm gonna reach for that one. You're gonna let me through. You're gonna let me through. You're gonna let me through. Oh, victory. Hear all that popping sound? That's them ripping out of my flesh. Well, actually my shirt. I don't want to be too dramatic. We're kind of, liking for drama out here in the woods. Just animals eating each other. That's just the usual drama, Wonder if my cat, he just went running that way. I wonder if he was chasing a rabbit. I think there's I don't know what you call a bunch of baby rabbits. Clutch? I don't know. Not a herd, but yeah, he just took off. What you can't probably see is that there's trails all through here, and I'm sure they're just from the rabbits. You have to excuse my voice today. It's not that much pollen and such, but it's enough greenery and all that to clog the old pipes up here. There we go. There's like a little bug eating. But you know what? I'm sure Mr. Junebug, those are pretty good. I'm sure Mr. Junebug brushes his proboscis or whatever you want to call it. I'm sure he's hygienic. Oh, that's just it's a firefly. If you can see it. Probably not. Little baby firefly. He's out a little early, isn't he? Oh, look, we discovered some more. There we go. More picking, more storytelling, because I'm bored. Don't really want to wear my headphones and listen to my iPad, or excuse me, iPhone out here. Oh, dropped it. Dang it. Because there might be some situation. I might drive up and I won't hear them. Because we have problems out here in the country of people driving up while you have your garage open or something, and just grabbing your chainsaw or whatever. Remember a few years ago when we had the older mower, it was like a heat wave, and we had been putting off on cutting the grass because it was so hot, and we finally just had to cut the grass. And it wasn't like dry either. It rained quite a bit, but then it would be 95 to 100 after a rain. It's insane. It would drop, the temperature dropped down into the 80s, and you go, oh, I feel so good. And then the humidity would kick up, and then the next day you'd have super high humidity, and coupled with 95 to 100 degree temperatures. But I digress. Part of the story is I got so hot, and actually the mower was overheating a little, I believe. And I parked in the front near the road in the shade, the only shade we had there. There's some more. And I said, man, I'm about to die. So I went inside and I popped a hood on the mower, a riding mower, so it would cool down. And then I saw a guy drive by in a pickup truck, and he just slowed down. Oh, we're doing pretty well, look at that. And you can hear my kitty. He must not have been successful. Cats are really sweet though. They bring the rabbits after they kill them, and they gnaw on them a little bit, and they bring them and put them on the porch. And so you go out in the morning and you go, oh yeah, I forgot to check the mail. And you go out on your porch in the morning to go down to the box, and you about trip over a dead rabbit. And you go, wow, because by that time the flies have gotten to it. It's kind of gruesome. And you go, what a waste of meat. Eat it, kitty. But I think they're trying to, trade the rabbit for some good wet food. I think they're trying to be little merchants with me and do the trading game there. But anyway, the guy drove by where I parked it, and he just slowed down. I thought, oh, I wonder who this guy is. Maybe it's one of my cousins. I don't know. Dropping in. At that time, my mom was alive, and we were visiting. And he just slowed down, and I popped my head out. And then he looked up, and then he, drove off. I go, well, okay. I thought he was going to pull into the yard. Lo and behold, though, I finally cooled down about 30 minutes later, drank a bunch of water, sat in front of the air conditioning vent a bit. Oh no, I dropped some blackberries. What's wrong with me? I dropped about 10 of them. Oh well. I'll pick 10 to compensate. So this guy, about 30 minutes later, I'm about to go out there, and here he comes rattling up, and he pulls up into the yard. He's got a trailer on the back of his pickup truck, and I'm like, whoa. And he starts to back up the trailer into the yard, approximately where the mower would be. And I'm like, whoa, and I step out and I go, hey, how's it going? You want to be friendly. You don't want to, immediately pull your shotgun out and shoot somebody, of course. We don't do that. We have a certain sort of etiquette out in the country. We're really friendly at first. We wait for them to pull a weapon before we pull a shotgun out. I kid, of course. But, maybe some of my neighbors, not so much. The dude just looked up, and then he kind of like shrugged, like, oh well, this one got away from me. And then he just, he had started to get out of his truck, and then he got back in his truck and took off. This wasn't midnight. This wasn't at night. This was like 6 o'clock on the evening in summer. And, yards from our front door. So that's why I'm a little cautious about leaving things around. Even if I'm working in the yard, I'll put the wheelbarrow or the tools where no one can see them from the road. Because if somebody will do that, they'll just come in your house. And people are kind of crazy now with the COVID stuff, so you have no idea what's happening. All right. Well, it's a nice day. It's about 88 degrees. Here's all the grown-up weeds that I will eventually get to knocking down or bush hogging. So again, if anybody knows anybody, that would be great. And I'm gonna pick a few of these, and I'm gonna go in. I think that's it for the day. Let's see right quick if they got any on the dewberry. This will be the bonus episode right here. That's not it. That's a different kind of leaf together. Ah, here we go. Can you see these? These are a different kind of leaf on these dewberries, as they've been called, than these berries. They're kind of like a little more crinkled. These seem to have more featherly edges on them. I don't know. And of course you don't want to get into this because that's poison ivy. Those berries aren't so good. I'm fairly resistant to it, but I don't want to. I don't want to tempt fate. Yeah, so that's what a dewberry plant looks like. Also, you see this? I don't know what that is. Some kind of fungus. You see that white stuff? Let me find it here. There it is. Can you see that white stuff on it? It's strange. Some kind of fungus, I believe, growing on it. I don't get berries from plants that have a fungus on it. Some kind of weird stuff here. One of the things I like mushrooms and portabayas and such on my burger, but not on my blackberries. Okay, well there goes the little path into the woods. We're gonna walk around and glance and see if we've got any more giant stand of blackberries. It's easy to miss because you get frustrated. You get really frustrated. Now I had to chop all of those weeds down in a couple of trees just to get through here. It's amazing what will grow up in just a few years. Oh, look at that. Mr. Armadillo's been here. That was a pretty big fire ant mound there. All right. Thank you, Mr. Armadillo, Mr. Anteater. You see this? I believe this is sumac. I don't know. They make some kind of berries. They're starting to make some kind of berries. I don't know if it's something you can eat or not. If it's even sumac, I don't really trust my identification skills. Yeah. At that point, I'll do like the boys say and buy my stuff at the store. Yeah, it's a pain. So we're walking around this open area here. Next time I'll go to the woods a little bit. The woods we have here are not like the ones in the, oh, look. Here's the dewberry. There's the red one. You can get that black one on there. You can see it. There it is, right there in the middle. Yep, that's the dewberry. Go ahead and get it. It's kind of eaten up a little bit. Yeah, it's not a great example. They tend to be a lot bigger. When I was with the kids, there's a trail. I don't know if you can see that. I didn't do that. It's probably a rabbit trail. And there's some of the first trees that come back are pine trees and sweet gum. I believe they call it the wasp. They call it succession of biomes or whatever. Usually it's like thorns and weeds and so forth. Then you get these kind of soft trees, and then you get the hard trees like the oaks. So that's really my fault with the pine trees, because I thought they were so pretty. I had a couple of them out here, or 3 of them. I just let them grow. Well, the problem with this letting them grow, I had a mower then, and this was all cleaned out. That was years ago, and the mower died on me. And I had to choose between having surgeries for my kid or buying a mower. So I just push mowed my little yard and let this go to pot. But the thing is about pine trees is they reproduce. I wish they were some kind of Christmas tree. I would just sell them, but they're more like Charlie Brown's ugly Christmas tree than anything. But it has the most character, right? So we're walking along. Here's the tree. That literally was only about 15 feet just a few years ago. That's how fast they grow. And these up here, last year or so, were only this tall. Now they're that tall, which is about 7 feet. Well, we have all sorts of things. And there's some more trails. We also have a lot of coyotes swing by. Yeah, considering getting a dog, these coyotes are a little too friendly sometimes. Wow, looks like somebody's been digging through there. Maybe I did that. I don't remember though. Huh. Well, I see some blackberries I can come back and get because I'm a bit tired and I've talked the whole time and my throat is a bit dry. So again, sweet gum. And more sweet gum. And that's what I think this is sumac. That's what the berries look like. It's like a weird tall bush, small tree. And there's some more. I don't even know if they're berries or not, or just flowers. You can see that. All right, moving along. Yeah, there's some berries there. I'll come back for you. I spilled some, but look, we have enough for a pie, everybody. Actually, we have enough for 3 pies. We'll take 3 pints today, which isn't bad considering the berries are only 1/4 to 1/3 ripe on the vine, or the bramble. I don't know what you call it. So here we go. We're getting civil. Oh, look. Oh, cut grass. Oh. Now, folks, if you ever decide to get pear trees to plant in your yard, don't plant flowering pear trees. If you want, get some real pear trees or some other fruit trees. They're useless. All they do is drop giant branches down there. I have to cut up with a chainsaw. I used to park my car into there. Aren't I glad I didn't this time? That one's about to break. Because you know what? I didn't have a chainsaw for a couple of years. And I haven't been able to prune the trees. And they require constant attention. Yep. That's my junkyard. Don't tell anybody. I'm trying to avoid having the classical southern stereotype of a country person living out and having their junk in their car, their cars in the yard and so forth, and their old washing machines. All right. Well, we're back, and there's my wild cat. Hey, kitty, kitty. Mario, here he comes. Meow. Yeah, he's a good kitty. He's very grateful because he just showed up one day. My neighbors have a problem with, hey buddy, how you doing? They have a problem with not fixing their animals, and their strays show up here, in which we inevitably adopt, and sometimes they just go away or they die. He showed up a sack of bones, and we fed him, and he's not the smartest cat sometimes, but he is a good hunter, and he's very sweet. Look at that. Yeah. Okay, everybody, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to go into the garage. After I cool down, then if you see the wheelbarrow out there, I'm going to go clean the ditch out of it, which is not as exciting. I'm not going to put you through that. All right, because if I don't clean the ditch out, then the water will overflow in the road and wash my dirt road away, and the county does not respond until your road actually washes away, which I don't want to happen. So therefore, QED, I have to go out there and clean it out. So, all right.